I'm looking at a couple of the people who have joined. So I think your audience is not just from India, it's from elsewhere also.
Yeah, there are a few people from Dubai too. So
Because when I see the names on the screen, I said that's
yeah,
definitely not India by any stretch of imagination.
yeah. There are a few people who wanted to actually who have filled the form from Dubai and they wanted to know the insights and everything. So I'll start. I guess some people are joining in, but some have already joined. So let's not wait. So this session, particularly, we kept as a whole to have that foundation of what's really happening, rather than people, and to break the narrative of especially in Delhi NCR or India. And then, of course, a lot of people want to know the real numbers who are based in Dubai and want to know like what's really going on. And yeah, to start with, I would like to introduce. I don't think so. The guy needs any introduction, but Mr. Dr. Anand, like he's tell to a few people like we miss that in Delhi NCR market that there is a teacher for real estate, like some master who can tell, okay, what are the numbers, what's really happening. Like in school, my teacher can say, okay, this is what you need. That's the guy for Dubai. Like I, words are less. And Chintan is my dear friend based in Bombay. He's into real estate development and structuring of family offices. We guys have been into real estate since around 40 odd years. Our company name is Jindal Group, and we and we all together thought like why not do this often to make people let know like what's really happening, what is really going on, what is the market like, what are the stats like, where from now, like Dubai was always on a high, is it still on a high? People have different kind of narrative in Delhi NCR, so I thought why not keep this foundation in a way that coming from Mr. Anand, Chintan and us, that to break the narrative actually, to know the what is the real picture. So that's why Mr. Anand, and through the slide, he'll take you guys through few numbers which you should definitely know. And then we'll have a 15-20 minute Q&A session where people can ask questions of whatever is running through their minds. Yes, Mr. Anand.
All right, let's have the slide up and then, okay, the next one.
Next. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Just a very quick thing here. What a lot of people struggle to understand is the fact that we're not in one war, we are actually in three wars. And I call them the three I's. There is the Iran war, which we are really not too concerned about. Our government is handling it brilliantly, and you'll see some numbers coming up for that. It's the next two wars that create the real problem, the information war, or rather the misinformation war. When people don't have clarity of information or access to the credible sources, then they go by the noise, they go by the social media, and they go by just a few newspaper reports. But even in the newspaper reports, if you look at the credible sources giving that information, you will not see them mentioned, not even in the newspapers. So this misinformation war goes on. For example, I've seen one video where someone from India went and put up a video saying the Burj Khalifa was bombed. Now, I pass the building every day. I drive past the Burj Khalifa every day. I was in the Burj Khalifa 3 days ago, the building that was bombed. So sometimes what happens, they go and post it out there, and then people repost these things without fact checking, and that's where the information war starts. And that is a global war. That is something everyone is fighting. And this is not just unique to UAE. Anytime you have something happening in the world today, it's the social media that takes it out. And that's where the problem starts. And then the other war is the ignorance war. Without knowing what's the reality on the ground, what's actually happening, everyone has become an expert on Dubai today. They're giving expert analysis, and they are talking about things like as if they've been here, they have sat with the key decision makers, and they're speaking with that kind of confidence. Our job today is to use the actual data and global reports that will be credible. And anyone who's watching today, I would encourage you, please fact check it after the session. Don't just use it because I said it. Fact check it. It will hold. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. First thing we need to understand and help people to be able to accept is what is the concept of safety. Today, a lot of people are saying Dubai is not safe, the UAE is not safe. Now, at no point ever in the history of the country did we say we are safe from missiles or pandemics. Never. In fact, Dubai did not articulate and say we are the safest. This came from global reports that evaluated 72 cities in the world, a report like the GPCI, Global Power City Index, and they actually looked at certain criteria. And based on that criteria, they said the UAE is one of the safest cities in the world. But that criteria was crime rate, it was emergency responses, law and order, judicial systems, it was things like that. They were not evaluating pandemics and missiles. Today, there is no city in the world that is safe from a missile. North Korea can send something 12,000 kilometers away to a city in the US. So, safety is not the absence of a challenge. Safety is actually the speed of response and recovery. How quickly does your city recover when something happens? We had the pandemic in 2020. Now, the pandemic touched the whole world. So, by the definition that people are using today of safety, the world is not safe because the pandemic hurt everybody. So that is something that is a unique situation. What is important is when the situation happens, how does that city or that country recover in that situation? For an investor, safety is about, if I had to put my money in Dubai today, how is my money protected? What will the government do to ensure that whatever my investments were will actually come through to the completion and I can continue to grow my money? That is what this investor really needs to look at. So an attack, and it doesn't have to be an attack. You can have a massive earthquake, you can have a tsunami like Japan had it. It did not mean Japan was not safe because there was a tsunami, but it hurt the economy and it took them some time to come back on their feet. So the understanding that a missile is coming through, therefore you are not safe. Let me give you the good news: missiles can touch India without being stopped as well. So we do not classify safety from that perspective. We look at it from an investment, future of the economy, and the growth model. Let's go to the next slide. And I'd just like to say in between, if any of you have questions, just note it down, because in the interest of time, I'll run through the slides, then you can ask us the questions. Now, I don't know if many of you saw this post. The UAE was built for these uncertainties, is what Sheikh Mohammed said. What does this actually mean? As a city, Dubai is built on long-term economic agendas. We have the Dubai Economic Agenda, the D33. We got the Urban Master Plan, the 2040. We got the Dubai Centennial Plan, which is 2071. We got the Real Estate Strategy 2033. We the UAE 20. There are so many plans. Now, when you make the plans to take your city to number one in the world by 2040, you are putting hundreds of billions of dirhams into infrastructure and growth models. But you don't do this without asking yourself the hard questions. We're putting all these hundreds of billions and our agendas are going ahead. What if there is another pandemic? Or what if there is another financial recession? Or what if there is a war like situation? So you ask the questions, you prepare your responses to those situations if they happen, and you continue with your growth and development. That is what he's talking about here, saying that we are built for these uncertainties. We did not know when the first missile would come, but we knew exactly what to do after that first missile came. And that's why you will see our response has been incredible. It has been acknowledged around the world. Another example, COVID. In 2020, when COVID hit the world, the fastest city in the world to open in 4 months was Dubai. Abu Dhabi still needed a PCR test for the next 1 year. But what was the reason Dubai bounced back so quickly? Our response plans were already in place. So the government in the UAE is saying, relax, we got everything under control. The noise that is out there is not in our control, but what is happening in our cities is definitely in our control. Let's go to the next slide. So here is the data. This is accurate as of yesterday. Now, we have the best air defense system in the world. It's called THAAD, Thermal High Altitude Area Defense. There's only two countries on the planet that use THAAD, the US and the UAE. Even Israel uses the Iron Dome and the Patriot. No one else uses THAAD. Now, THAAD as a system was bought and put in place in 2011 at $7 billion. Now, 15 years before the first attack came, the system was already in place to protect our skies. That is how proactive the government is. That's what we mean when we say that we are built for these kind of situations or uncertainties. Now, when a missile hits, there's only three outcomes for it: an interception, an impact, and a hit. We had a total of 2,851 attacks, drones, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles. Now, an interception is where you've been able to target it and knock it out of the sky. An impact is you targeted it, you knocked it out, but burning debris, pieces fell, and those caused damage. And then a hit is a missile that directly came through and could not be stopped. So when you look at it, our interceptions were 2,844 interceptions. That is a 99.8% interception rate. For Iran, that translates into a 99.8% failure rate. The actual missiles that came through was only a 0.2%. You won't get a system like this anywhere on the planet. Now, not only did this system work for us, in the 35 to 40 days that followed after that, with the ceasefire, the UAE was not sitting quiet. We brought in, next slide, please. Okay, we brought in 4 additional systems. So we have now 5 systems watching our skies. We have Spectro, which is a detection system that will detect missiles which are from 20 kilometers away. For the first time in the world, Iron Beam is going to be used, which is a laser-guided destruction system. So we've got that in, also came from Israel, and we have the Patriot missiles also. So we're now, with one system, we protected our skies. We now have 5 in place. In addition to that, if you've been following the news 2 weeks ago, Edge Systems, EDGE, Edge Systems, which is a defense manufacturing company in Abu Dhabi, has signed a contract with Lockheed Martin. They're going to start preparing the missiles and AI-guided interception systems in Abu Dhabi itself. We're no longer going to be importing missiles and technology. We're going to build it ourselves here. Now, such speed of response to put in 4 more systems and contract to start building your own AI-guided missile system in 35 days. I don't know any government on the planet that acts so fast. That is why, like I said earlier, it is the speed of response and recovery that is important. Let's go to the next slide. So this is just like a snapshot or a summary of what's happening. Now, everything in Dubai is open, nothing shut. We have the best interception systems. Our economy is open. The government is working. Private sector is working. Schools are open. The public sector is working. We had a shutdown for a few days for the airport, because I do hear this from some investors. And let me explain why. It will help you when you talk to investors. Now, we did not shut the airport down because of a threat that a missile was coming. In that case, we should have shut the whole city. But the reason we shut it down is when international airspaces are closed and airlines are not flying in, there is no sense in keeping an airport open for people to check out of hotels and travel to an airport and sit in an airport not knowing when it will open, 2 days later, 5 days later, 2 weeks later, because their planes are not coming in. So that is one, it was a common sense situation here. The second reason was we have the busiest airport in the world. If a missile had to come through, we wanted to strike an empty airport, not an airport full of people. So that was the reason it was shut down. Now, that created another issue. We talk openly about things. We had many tourists and travelers who were stuck in Dubai because they were 28th of February when it started. Weather was excellent. So the hotels were still full at that time. Now, many of these people could not fly out, and we did not know for how long. But they were staying in hotels. Not everyone had the financial capacities to keep paying 5-star hotels every day. The government stepped in and told the hotels, we will pay for everybody. Do not ask them to leave. Now, I want you to think about India or those who are attending from other places. I want you to think about your own government. In which of your countries will the government go to a private hotel operator and say, don't worry, we will pay for you? That's the difference between the UAE and the rest of the world. So economy is open, our financial system is open, no ATM machines were shut down, no restriction on amount of money you could withdraw or even transfer online. Mortgages are still being approved, credit lines were open. Bank Melli of Iran, when it took a hit, they shut down all their ATMs. And then Bank of Tehran did the same thing. People on the streets were stuck without money. But in the UAE, you could take as much money as you wanted. And one of the systems that is always protected in a war-like situation or in pandemics is your financial system. You want to make sure it is secure. Ours is open. Logistics and trade systems are all open. We had 3 ports that took a hit. there was the Jebel Ali port, there was Korfakan, and there was Fujairah. But they're all back in operations again. Jebel Ali, of course, cannot do much contribution as of now because the Hormuz Strait is closed. But that is not just for the Jebel Ali port, it's for every other port in that area. So we are now using alternatively through Korfakan, and we are using Fujairah. In addition to that, we have built land corridors. We now have cargo moving by land through Oman directly into the Gulf of Oman and the Indian Ocean. We don't need the Hormuz Strait for that. We also have another road corridor open through Saudi Arabia going to the Yanbu ports, which takes things into Egypt. It does take a little more time, but then in a unique situation, we are responsive and we are giving an alternate solution to people. Another example is the Habshan oil field in Abu Dhabi with an alternate pipeline, 380 kilometers, which is going directly into the Fujairah port. 1.5 million barrels a day, we can push through that. That pipeline was built between 2009 and 2012, 14 years before this happened. This is what we are talking about when the rulers are saying we are built for these things. If people are expecting that everything is perfect, nothing is changed in a unique situation like this, I don't think they're living in reality. What we have to look at is when something happens, how do we react? Okay, let's stay on that. So the transport systems are open, metros are running, cabs are available, order delivery boys are coming into you, healthcare systems are open. Not a single clinic or hospital felt pressure. Usually in war and pandemics, you have a larger number of patients and hospital systems get stretched. They have limited beds, doctors, etc. So when you have situations like these, if you have minor illnesses, the government tells you stay at home unless it is life threatening. Let's keep the hospitals open for those who are dying with the COVID or who have been injured in the war. We never had such a situation here. With a minor headache that you have, you can choose any hospital you want. Everything was open. Our communication systems have been open. We never kept any information in the dark. Every single day, you will see updates. If there is a new attack, how many missiles actually came and were intercepted. We share everything, including the hits. And the information comes from the Emirates News Agency. It comes from the Dubai Media Office, which is Sheikh Mohammed's voice. It also comes from the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Interiors. And all the four major newspapers are carrying it. The reason the government is open with everything is we're confident about our systems, what protects our skies. And we know that the information war and the ignorance war is a global thing. So while people are putting stories out there, we are putting out the facts to be able to counter those stories. And that's the reason why today our leaders walk around in the open, in malls, attending horse races. This is not PR. You can do PR with a green screen in 100 different ways. For example, you will never see a Netanyahu outside anywhere. You will not see the remaining leadership of Iran anywhere. You'll never see a Putin out anywhere. You'll not even see Trump outside now. He has cut it down. But our leaders will walk around. Why? Our confidence is in what is watching our skies. That's why we even had the the costliest horse race in the world 6 weeks ago, out in the open. So the message was very clear. It's business as usual in the UAE. Let's move now. Okay, yeah, that's one. Now, what I do normally when I'm talking to people, this is a script I'm sharing with all of you. It works very well to change the perspective of people before you get into the hard data. So, people are concerned. They are sitting in an emotional space. Emotion, as in no drama, they're anxious, they're a little afraid. And so they are being cautious. So, if I don't change that emotional perspective, I cannot try and use logic to bring them to an investment. So here is the script that is guaranteed to work 100 out of 100 times. Here, we use a technique called feel, felt, found in this. So all I would do is I'm talking to somebody. I would say, I know how, if they're asking me, but it's not safe right now, I think we should wait. There will be corrections in the market, whatever they may tell you. I would simply say, I know how you feel. Some of my best clients felt the same. Here's what they found. The institutional funds, which are the big boys, the ultra high net worth individuals, and the long term investors, the ones who make the maximum returns worldwide, are still investing in Dubai. They operate on different data and insights. Then you ask the question, so what do you think they know that most of the investors miss? This is where the perspective shifts. So what they do, they tell you, what do you mean? They give you the control. And then you simply take a name. I would say Ahmed. The smart investors focus on clear market and economic fundamentals. Let me share what those are. Now you have changed their mental perspective and you're in a stronger place to get into the data. Let's go to the next slide. Now, please download this report, the S&P Global Rating Report, which was done March 6th and 7th of 2026, about 8 days into the war. Now, for this, we need to understand who is S&P Global. S&P Global is a financial advisory and a stability rating company based in New York. They are global. Okay, they rate the governments and financial stability worldwide. Every government, Europe, the UK, France, India, all of them are rated by S&P Global. So extremely credible. They also rate the credibility and stability of the global banks and multinational corporations. So every time you have the multinational investors, the big funds, the international institutional funds wanting to come into any, for example, they want to go into Taiwan, they will check the S&P Global rating on Taiwan for financial stability. If Singapore is looking to come into the UAE, they will check for the rating from this report. So S&P Global realized that at a time like this, people would want to know what is the future of the Middle East economies. So they did a review in March. And this is the result that we got. The highest rating worldwide was given to the UAE during the war. Long-term financial stability is the AA rating. So it means for the long term, we are stable financially, we have strong reserves, and the risk of international payments being defaulted is very low. The type of countries that have AA is Singapore and Germany, and they don't have missiles being thrown at them. So, in the midst of the uncertainty, after they looked at how we are positioned, which will come on the next few slides, they said AA, strongest. Now, many investors will probably tell you, yeah, but that's long term. Long term, all markets usually recover. We got A1 plus, which is the highest possible rating worldwide for short term financial stability because people panic short term. So we have the stability even for short term. That's why everything is open. Credit availability is there. Banks are open. Funding is going on. And most important is the last point, which is the fiscal policy continuity. Fiscal policies is how a government spends money. If you look at Dubai today, our agendas are going ahead. We have not slowed down even one agenda. We have just announced the gold line with another 34 billion, which is starting work. We announced the tunneling for the blue line, which is a 20.5 billion project. And these are all going ahead. Now, how could we do this at a time like this? Answer is simple. Last year, Sheikh Mohammed approved a budget of 302.7 billion for infrastructure and development. 48% of that budget was infrastructure. That's almost 150 billion. So the money to go ahead with the infrastructure development, the flyovers, the highways, the additional roads has already been provided last year. So when looking at all of this, S&P Global gave the highest rating. Did we lose some business in Dubai? Yes, of course we lost it. It's a unique situation. In a war situation, everybody, Russia lost, Ukraine lost, Israel has lost. Everybody loses when you have such a situation because of the perception. But we will look at how the government has supported many of these industries right now. Think logically. One of our biggest money spinners is tourism and hospitality. When airlines are not flying in, how do you expect the tourists to come? Swimming? So it's only natural that some of those industries would take a bit of a beating, but the government has stepped in with stimuluses for these kind of industries. Real estate for Dubai is a global market. So when someone is sitting in Australia and listening to noise, he is hesitating at this point in time. So we do see a slowdown for this point in time, but it hasn't changed the outlook or any of the policies of the government. Real estate in particular is not decided in 2 months or 4 months. You look at a 4 year, 5 year cycle, especially with the off plans, and you look beyond that for ready property. So even if there is a downturn for a little while, it picks up in the months to come after that. It averages out. People need to be understanding 3 to 5 year scenarios, not 2 to 3 months. Let's go to the next slide. Now, the next number is also extremely important. We need the next slide. Yeah, that one. It's called the credit default score. The credit default score is looked at by the multinational companies and the institutional funds. What does this actually mean? It's an important number to know. You need a score which is below 100. If the score is below 100, it means, and by the way, the maximum score is 1,000. So that means if your score is 100 or below, you have only a 10% risk of defaulting on some of your international payments. So you are considered a very safe territory for investments, for wealth preservation, because a lot of the money moving in is to come to a friendlier tax jurisdiction. All of it is not a growth investment. There's third party protection. All governments, including India, has their money insured through third parties like the Lloyd's Register of London, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all of them, Citibank, Citicorp, etc. So what is looked at is the credit default score. If your credit default score is very, very high, then you might not get the third party protection, or the premiums will be extremely high. Like, let's take an example, health insurance. When you're young, the risk of falling sick is less. So you get a cover with a low premium. When you're older, you have chronic conditions and the risk of falling sick is higher. Therefore, you will get a coverage, but your premiums become much higher. It's like when you go to take a mortgage, people check your credit scores. So similarly, the government scores are checked also. So Bloomberg Terminal has got a nice report on this information. C bonds will give you this data. And if you go to the Central Bank of UAE, just do a chat GPT and put CDS scores for Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Now, 100 and below is an excellent place to be in. Dubai was at 900 in 2008. We had a 90% default risk score because we had no oil. Dubai has not had oil anyway, and we had no financial reserves at that time. We were largely driven by tourism and real estate. Now, in a financial recession, no one's going to be putting their money in real estate overseas, that too in a city that was yet to prove itself. The tourists were stopping and they were not coming because no one goes on holidays during recessions. So we had an issue at that time, and Abu Dhabi had to help us out. A total of 112 billion dirhams was put into the market, 50 billion into the banks. So no local bank shut. International banks collapsed, but local ones stayed. And an additional 62 billion dirhams was given to Dubai in 2009 and 10 for the infrastructure work to go on. It was very clear, nothing will stop. But we learned very quickly after that, so we started to build our own reserves. By the time we came to pandemic in 2020, 10 years later, from 2010 to 2020, we had dropped the score from 900 to 300. That was a 200% reduction in the default risk. So Dubai actually put itself in a strong position. Now, if you look at the scores, Abu Dhabi is at 35. It's one of the lowest scores on the planet. Why? Because Abu Dhabi has got oil reserves, they have strong sovereign wealth, and the balance sheet of Abu Dhabi is the strongest of any city in the Middle East. Dubai is at 65, higher than Abu Dhabi. So a little more risk is there, but it is still way below the 100. So it's easily in very safe territory. The reason for this little difference is we are influenced by global markets much more than Abu Dhabi or the Fujairahs, Ras Al Khaimas, etc. And the tourism. And when flights are not coming in, obviously the people are not coming in. Dubai is at 65. So when S&P Global looks at our credit default scores and say these cities are way below the 100, which is considered an excellent place to be. So long-term stability is there, short-term stability is there, credit policies are open, government is continuing to spend, default risks are low. That's why the highest ratings have been given to us. That was the confidence. So we need the slide, not for me. I know what's coming. I can talk, but it's for the people who are watching. We need to see it. It is a slide which talks about a monetary based coverage. Now I know these are technical terms, but I cannot change international accounting terms. And I think investors need that in a time like this. It's an extraordinary situation. We need to have extraordinary information. So, okay, so let me talk about it anyway. It will probably come up at some point, the
Right.
slide.
Yeah.
Okay, now the monetary based coverage is how do you cover and how do you protect the money that is in your economy right now from internal sources? What's your cover? So we are not talking about the third party insurance which is there to protect you. We're talking of within your own economy now.
No.
How much cash? How much? Go down. Go further
Yeah.
down. Go down. Go one more. One more down. Go again. Go two more down. Go two more. Yeah, next one. Next slide. Yeah, stay here. No, go back up. Go back up one. No, up one again. Up one. Yeah, stay here. Yeah, stay here. Okay. So this is the monetary based coverage. So the monetary based coverage is what within your own cash reserves. Can you cover for the money that is getting lost in the economy? So that means your monetary base is covered. Any city or country with a 50% or less coverage is very, very weak, high volatility risk. Because let's say your economy is 1 trillion, 500 billion is at risk. It will be wiped out. There's nothing to replace it. For the UAE, the score is 119%. This is not taking into account the third party insurances. So we have within our economy 1 dirham to easily cover every dirham if the entire economy is wiped out, which is the reason why S&P Global is saying stronger short term and long term stability. So I've given the three sources below. The logo in the middle is the Central Bank of UAE. Just go to Central Bank, put in monetary based coverage, you'll get the numbers. So how do we have these numbers? Where are they coming from? Next slide, please. Okay. Currently, our bank assets is 5.4 trillion. The money in circulation in our economy is 920 billion. That's the liquidity. So for every one of that 920 billion, we got 5.4 trillion just in bank assets that can cover it. The banks themselves have a 400 billion reserve. So literally almost half of the money in circulation can be covered just by the bank reserves itself. Foreign exchange reserves is just over 1 trillion. And this is very important because we have to make a lot of international payments. We are a city which is in a growth mode. We have the biggest airport being built, and we have contracts with international companies who need to be paid on regular time periods. And that can only be done through our forex reserves. So either gold, it has to be US dollars, government bonds, etc. We've got the Dubai Loop, the underground tunneling, which is being done through Elon Musk's company. These are just examples. So he has to be paid. The boring company has to be paid. Those will be paid through foreign exchange reserves. So we have over 1 trillion sitting right there. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, about 7 weeks ago, announced a 1 trillion support package for the economy and the banks and some of the businesses here. Sheikh Mohammed, Sheikh, I'm forgetting his name is just gone out of me, which is not really good for me. Yeah, the son. Someone help me out here. Sheikh Hamdan. I can't
Sheikh
believe I lost
Hamdan.
that name. I
Sheikh
seriously can't
Hamdan.
believe I lost the name. I hope he's not listening. Anyway, so Sheikh Hamdan, about 8 weeks ago, he approved a 1 billion support package for the small businesses and hotels. 3 days ago, he approved another 1.5 billion. So a 2.5 billion has been approved by Sheikh Hamdan for the small businesses. Let's go to the next slide. Another good number for us to know is what we call the UAE debt ratio, our debt to our GDP, which is the ability to earn money from business and our strategic assets. So the first thing we saw, long-term financial stability, short-term financial stability. We saw ongoing government spending. We saw low credit default scores, 35 and 65. We saw monetary base covered by more than 100%, 119%. Now we're looking at the debt that the UAE has got, payments to be made out. How can we cover that from another angle, which is just the money you earn in your economy, the GDP? How much you can earn. Now, this debt that we have is positive debt. You can have negative and positive debt. Positive debt is when you have future payments which are aligned, structured payments which are linked to your developments. Negative debt is borrowings, where you borrow money, so and you have to pay that back. So a real estate example will help you. When you buy an off-plan investment, you are putting 20% a down payment, and then you get a payment plan for 3 to 5 years or even more. It doesn't mean you don't have money. You have money, but you have an agreed plan where I will put 20% now and I'll keep paying for that asset every 3 months or 6 months. That's called positive debt. It's not shortage of money, it's money on a structured plan. Similarly, Dubai has got payments to be made to a lot of international organizations and governments based on its growth and development. That is the 112 billion we're talking of here. So this is infrastructure development agenda led debt, and it's a payment plan agreed over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Now the GDP right now, our gross domestic product every year is 533 billion. So we have a 5 to 1 coverage ratio from just the business. I honestly believe the GDP this year will be lower because of what has happened now, but we will easily cover it by 3 times or 4 times. In addition to that, we have strategic assets, 1.47 trillion. That is a 13 to 1 ratio for the debt. So for our payments for the future, we've got 18 dirhams covering every dirham that we have to pay in the future. I'm not surprised why S&P Global or Moody's are saying strongest long-term stability for this country. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I don't know how many of you saw this. This came out in all the newspapers. I just took a grab from the National. This is global investors with 20 trillion US dollars assets are going ahead with their Middle East expansion despite the war. So this is the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, wherever they've got planned projects where they're investing, they're saying we are going ahead, 20 trillion US dollars. Two companies who are part of this money pot is BlackRock and State Street. It's mentioned in the words down below. Between the two of them, they handle $14.3 trillion. Now, the BlackRock spokesperson says our commitment to the investments in the region and supporting our clients is long term, and it has not changed. Nothing has changed it. These are the big boys. If you remember in the script, I said the institutional funds, the ultra high net worth individuals are going ahead. This is an example. Go to the next slide. I've just taken some screenshots to show you all. Next one. Okay. Now, this also, you may have seen it just about 5 weeks ago. Blackstone came and invested $250 million in Abu Dhabi in the middle of the war to have payment platforms being created. Kareen, who's their spokesperson, said two things. The current situation, referring to the war, is neither impacting our conviction, which is our belief, or the mission to be a key partner. It's not impacting us. A small time investor will see a post on Instagram and then he starts to shake. But the big boys are not, because they look at global reports, they speak government to government, they look at demand and supply, they look at the growth trends, population going to still be, we haven't even changed the number of the population growth for this year. It's still holding the same. So let's go to the next. Again, two more mega funds have come in. The Capital Group assets under management, 3.3 trillion US dollars. You got the Man Group, which has got $229 billion asset under management. They have also come into Abu Dhabi. The World Bank has announced a strategic collaboration with the UAE on investment development, and this was announced 10 days ago. Temasek from Singapore last week announced $3 billion investment into Dubai. So people are coming in because they are looking at different information. Let's go to the next slide. Maybe you have seen this. For the last 5 years running, the GEM report, Global Entrepreneur Monitor report, for the last 5 years has rated the UAE as the #1 destination for startups and businesses in the world. #1 for the last 5 years running. So even now, in the midst of what's happening, people are still coming in. They're still setting up their businesses here. Let's move to the next. Okay, this is what I talked about earlier. The first two images are about the blue line, 20.5 billion dirhams, but they have started the tunneling while the missiles are flying above us. The underground part is 17 billion. And the last image is the new gold line that has been announced, which is going to have a $9 billion investment, roughly 34 billion. So our infrastructure is moving ahead. Fiscal spending is not stopping. Let's go ahead. Next slide. Now, the president of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, actually announced no force majeure. Now, force majeure, it's actually a French term, which means superior force, something bigger than me, something that I cannot control. One example, just to understand, this was during the pandemic. This was something that hurt everybody. The airlines around the world declared force majeure. Now, you cannot declare force majeure without your governments approving it. Why did the airlines declare that? For an airline to make money, people have to get onto their planes. But with lockdowns and mobility restricted around the world, people could not fly. Therefore, the airlines couldn't make money, but their aircraft were parked in airports and they had to pay. They had to pay suppliers. So they couldn't do it. So they declared force majeure. Now, similarly, hospitality, many companies did that. Now, what happens in force majeure? Four things. One, all contracts that are in place can be halted. Immediately, they can be stopped. Any work going on with those contracts can be stopped immediately. Three, any payments due on those contracts can be stopped. And four, you can renegotiate terms of that contract to make it softer for you. But our president 8 weeks ago said no force majeure in the UAE, which means no contract will stop, no work will stop, no payment will be held back, no renegotiation of terms with anybody. It's a very powerful statement for a president to make. Next slide, please. Now, again, DIFC Financial Center on the 26th of March achieved its strongest ever position, number 7 in the world. We are now in the top 10 financial centers in the world. Everybody knows strong financial centers are strong economies, and you have influence on a global stage. We're number one in the Middle East anyway. The sources are there, by the way, for all the slides. So anybody wants to go, please go fact check and verify. Next slide, because I should be done on this in about 2 minutes. Okay. Now, again, if you look at the government trust index, there is a report which is called the Edelman Trust Barometer, Edelmann. The Edelman Trust Barometer actually measures the trust that other governments, large international companies, banking systems, and their own population have got in the government. And the number one government on trust in the world today is the UAE. People believe because we put our money where our mouth is. Next slide. Well, I'm wrapping up the presentation, I think, with that. Sheikh Mohammed said, anyone who bets on the UAE is betting on growth, prosperity, and a brighter future. This he said in April, just before the ceasefire started. And our president said, I promise everyone we will emerge stronger than before. So this is what I wanted to share with you as numbers. Obviously, there are new numbers coming up every single day, but I cannot just keep updating all the slides, and I want you all to talk also. It cannot be all me. So these are some numbers that I wanted to
What
share with
has
you
been
guys.
your experience? Yeah, yeah.
Well, my
Uh,
experience, we are rocking it. There is no way I'm even leaving this place for anything. Business is booming.
Definitely.
Business
People
is
who there
booming.
is a narrative and then everything is good over there. Yeah, business
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And I'm struggling for time.
Of course, you must be. You must be
All right,
struggling for
guys.
time. But yeah, the business is on. Business is on. That's true. Chintan bhai, what has been your experience? You have been covering a lot of things over here, and then your narrative in India. How do you feel about it?
I think Yaman immediate shock was what people were going through for the first 2 months. But after that, people have kind of understood that Dubai or UAE have always come out like, as the very strong option for anyone who wants to participate in the world economy. Like today, if you see, there is only one place where there are more than 160 nationalities who are investing. You are getting it. Today we do get investors who are investing into India, but those are NRIs who are Indians and they want to have like piece of the Indian growth story. But we would never hear about like a Russian or a Ukrainian or a Madagascar से किसी ने इंडिया में घर खरीदा. So when you want to participate in that economy, I think UAE becomes really interesting. And as Mr. Menon told about multiple things, like SIPA was one of the greatest things that has ever happened. Like I know a lot of companies when they want to participate into a lot of biddings in US, in UK, they said they need to have presence in the UAE. If they are making products in India, but now they want to like explore the Africa market, they want to do something in Europe. They say the moment they have a UAE address, it works for them. And
Yeah, yeah.
after the SIPA agreement,
Yeah.
85% uh, there is no tariff on more than like most of the goods. That has like helped really well for people to grow.
Yeah, I guess it gives a global staging to any kind of business, which is especially here in India or anywhere in the world. You get global exposure once you are over there.
100%.
That's
Yeah, I will just add one point to that, which will help when you talk to investors, because investors have to see the growth potential. The UAE has built a concept which is called cross-border corporate culture. Now, what this means is you could come from any part of the world, set up your factories here, industries here, import and re export, and with zero government interference and bureaucracy, you can conduct your business. Today, if you're in Europe, there are restrictions on which countries you can send goods to. India will have restrictions of their own. The US has got restrictions of their own. China has got restrictions of. So you cannot just come and set up a business so easily. There itself, you have a headache. Then you cannot just do business with any part of the world. So the cross-border corporate culture has been a big winner for Dubai. That's why 5 years running, we have the strongest startup for businesses. Real estate transactions have gone up 20% compared to March, and last month went up 6% on that 20%.
And how do you see transactions coming in next 6 months? Do you see uh of course there's no
Okay,
panic what people talk about, but yeah, there can be fun some people who are actually exiting at a 10-15% discount, like a
okay,
one out of 100.
that's not
Yeah.
true. That is not true at all, because we are monitoring the numbers every single day. We are monitoring all the listings. If you go to Property Monitor, if you go to Bayouth, you will see almost no change in prices. There will be
Yeah.
very few individuals who will be exiting for their reasons, panic, etc. But few individuals do not define the market. That's the first thing. What we are seeing as what people call distressed deals is was there. The same distress deals that are available now were there in December last year when we did 917 billion. These are
Mhm.
guys who got in bad decisions. They were sold by some crazy sales guy who told them, yeah, yeah, in 2 years you are able to exit the market. So this fellow went and over leveraged himself. Chalo, 30% I have to put, that's all. Now he cannot exit the market. He has to pay another 10%. So he's panicking, he's exiting. But this guy was there in February also. There were many of those before the
Yeah.
attacks happened. They were there in December. Actual distress deals coming out now because a missile had come in is almost nothing. Very, very few. When you have a market with 270,000 transactions, if you get 200 deals, it doesn't define your market. We just ignore that.
Yeah, that's true. It's just a few maybe which just happened out of panic, otherwise there's none.
Right. I'll give
Yeah.
an example, Anandji. I was talking to one of my very dear friends. So he's like, he met an investor a few days back. He wanted to buy just one apartment in one of the projects. Someone told him, like, instead of paying everything upfront, why don't you take three apartments? Because you just have to pay
Mhm.
so and so right now. The other would be like, when you make your client overstretch, and then during confusion, he'll take stupid decisions. He's not reaching out to the right
Absolutely.
person. Now that broker stopped answering his calls. That was the reason for the entire frustration. The moment, like, a good person, like, who tried to solve his problem, he this is something I'm talking before the entire fiasco. So the point
Hmm.
is, when you make your client overstretch, that is where all the problems come. But if you have bought something, like, I don't know if anything good in downtown or any good project में कहीं पे भी distress deal available है. I doubt और मिलेगा तो मुझे लगता है
Yeah, there's
like
nothing.
the brokers are only buying it if they get anything at a good rate.
Yeah, 100%. If there is something available like that with 15%, 20% below, when no one else is dropping, I'll pick it up. I've already earned 20% straight away just on purchase.
That's
So
true.
that does not exist. So distress by definition is in an economy that is losing with heavy oversupply, and so people are cutting out their profits and escaping with whatever they can get. That is the definition of distress, not a guy who bought wrongly and says I don't have money to pay.
Yeah, I guess a lot of purchases have happened that way. That pay you pay your 20-24%, brokers get their commission, and then boom, they're gone. But the buyer
Yeah,
is stuck.
that's why I always say in my podcast, and I say it openly, I'll say it here also. 85% of the brokers need to be kicked out of the market.
I think few will already, if you will go to seeing the time right
No,
now,
they will go.
probably
That's natural cleansing. But the market will bounce back after the summer, and some of these clowns will still be in the market. They need to go.
there should be something which needs to be done for this then.
Yeah, murder is not an option, unfortunately. What to do?
But
Right?
anyway, like
Anyone else? Anyone?
We'll also start with a Q&A. So people must have few
Yeah.
questions. I guess I have my one more very dear friend, Bharat. He is also quite
Yes, I
active
saw
in
him there
Dubai.
on the screen.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can see Bharat on the screen
Anybody
now.
who
Yeah.
has questions can shoot. Like anybody wants to discuss about it, the mindset, current trend, or somebody wants to know what is like bothering them, you can ask straight up.
If people have no questions, that means they're closing deals every day. Yeah, I guess so.
Hi everyone,
I.
Prachi Mangnani. I've been trying to raise my hand and waiting for the
Oh,
permission
I'm
to ask.
sorry. I can't
No,
see
no,
any
that's
of that
okay,
stuff
everyone.
here, but go ahead. Go ahead,
Yep.
ask.
Okay, no worries.
Tell me.
So, native of Dubai, born and raised here, very proud. I always start all my discussions this way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
been in an investing family. My dad is supplies to Imar the Mark Nakhil because we have a switchgear
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing company. So we know the
Mm.
inside of the inside. Been in real estate for 15 years, and what I've seen across the board since this has happened is, so first initially, like I think Chintan said, everybody was panicking, everybody was thinking we won't buy. But then I got
Mm-hmm.
calls ki, okay, theek hai, kitna gira? Like 30% down, 40% down. So I'm like, one second, are you looking for deals or are you not believing in the market? Those are two different things. So this is what I
Agreed.
was telling people. I said, you are believing in the market. You just want to enter at your choice of price. So this is one. Secondly, like you rightly said, distress. This is a term I think the 85% of the agents that you mentioned should go have started, because a
Yeah,
distress
yeah, I
is
agree.
not. So I know of people. I sold my apartment, by the way, last week at a price that I was not getting pre-war. I've put this up on my
Mm.
social media. You all can verify it.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I think nafe mein nuksan, like what we say in Hindi. If somebody is losing from their profit, earlier they were making 60%, now they're just taking 40%. That's not a distress. Please, that's not a distress. The world needs to know that. And I see a lot of veterans here. We need to communicate this. I don't think there's anything but a little discount, which was there in December. You're right. Like I would say 10%. Bharat, if I sit with you on a negotiation on a table, you'd make 10% just for human, intervention. You'd be like, okay, we'll make it up some other time. Let's start a work relationship. I'll give you 10% discount. Correct, Yaman? I
Yeah,
think that's
Prachi.
normal.
Yeah.
But that is not a discount in the market. That's not a real distress deal or anything. And I also give one more example to whoever is here. I did a deal. My client had 14 villas in a particular community. The guy gave me 25% discount. Okay. Now, if I wanted to market that, I could have said it's a distress deal. The guy gave a 25% discount because he was getting a land at 55% discount for a property. So he leveraged, this is a business decision. He took that
Yes.
discount, liquidated that, and used it elsewhere to further do business. That's a smart decision. It doesn't have to be
He made
a
money
sad,
actually.
exactly. It's not a sad distress. It's a smart
Mm.
business decision. So we need to analyze that. And I think we need to give the right narrative as consultants, as doctors of the economy. And it's up to all of us, I think. Yeah, we're doing, I love this get together. This is, sorry, this session.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a bit of
Thank you.
advice I could give everyone right now. Something
Please.
I actually did it. What I did was I called up every person who did business with me, even those who bought 5 years ago, 8 years ago. Now they weren't expecting that call because they're used to brokers going dark. So I just called them up and said, "How are things with you? And I'm sure you're aware of what's going on. You must be having questions in your head, and there's a lot of noise. Is there any question you'd like me to answer for you?" They were like, "Is this guy for real calling us now?" So all of them, and at the end of those phone calls, I did not ask for business. That was not the intent because then it would look very cheesy, right? But I just did that to say, if you have questions, I want to answer the questions for you today so that you have the confidence you are still in the good market. So many of them came back to me saying, "I have a friend who's still looking, can you find something?" But that was never the intent. Then I did something else which all of you should do. Everybody who did not buy, I called them also, and I said, "Hey, 4 years ago, we were in a conversation, but it didn't work out. You probably bought with someone, and I'm sure you got questions. So I'd just like to answer them for you." And he's sitting there thinking, say, my agents don't even call me. And here's a guy calling from whom I never bought. This is the time when you do
Yeah, this
more
is the time.
activity and not less activity. Because even if people are waiting, they are going to come back in a month, 2 months, once they see the activity on the ground. Now, that time the brokers will start calling them and they will remember. They'll say, in the 3 months that went before this, you were silent on me. Now the market is bounced back. That's why you're calling me. They're never going to work with them. Stay in touch now. More activity, not less. And maybe later
Yeah.
at the end, I'll give others chances for questions. I'll give few things to keep in mind when choosing an investment right now. I will do that a
Okay.
little later, probably.
Okay, I have a I want to first of all, doctor, thank you so much, and Chintan and Yaman for organizing this. I have a ask from doctor, but I want to first say that I've been very, very fortunate that when all of this started, at one fine Wednesday, I attended doctor's session, and that has been my script since then. So sending these messages to my clients and saying, "Hey, what's up? Do you want any ground report? What are you looking for?" Just not telling them everything is fine. So yes, that communication strategy really worked. The numbers that you shared. So thank you so much for that, doctor. It's working really well
Yeah.
for me. And
Well,
I want to
it's
ask you,
working
doctor.
because you used it. That's why. So
Yeah,
credit
yeah,
to you.
100%. I think I have your entire presentation in my diary. I literally stole it that day.
But
I
he
thought
doesn't
I'll do
share
a lot of
commission with me.
content using that.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
am
Okay, what is your ask?
touchwood, I'm selling using those tactics. Dubai is still selling, and I've been closing deals, so that really helped a lot. Thank you. My question is, doctor, is your team doing any work and research on the trading hubs and how the Bharat Mart and Yivu Mart and all of this, the new going forward business strategy for Dubai? We would love a session on that if you do
We can do
something. I
that.
know you have
Evo
a
Mart
great
was already
research.
done. We did Evo
Yeah,
Mart
it's
already
already
because
there.
now phase two is
Okay.
currently in. When phase one happened,
Mm-hmm.
we had done everything. Bharat Mart was
Mm-hmm.
announced, the vision
Mm-hmm.
was shared, but there was nothing else that we had as concrete
Mm-hmm.
evidence in terms of the implementation strategies. So I actually did a chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
on Bharat Mart, but there was enough, not enough to make a
Okay.
full session on it. Evo Mart, I can
Mm-hmm.
talk from morning till night on that
I
because
love
it
that
is
because there's
it is
so
in
much happening
operation.
down there south. In the
Yeah,
south,
I think we
so
need
much
to
is
talk about the
happening,
whole.
and
Yeah, the
you're
whole
the
Dubai South
guru
concept.
for all of us.
No, we have to talk
S-
about the whole Dubai South concept itself, not just the
yeah,
EU
yeah,
Mart,
yeah,
the airport,
yeah.
the expo center, all the mega communities. But they're just curious, a question to all of you. Why is it called Dubai South? Not because it's in the south of Dubai. We don't have Dubai North or Dubai East.
Mhm.
So what's the reason it's called Dubai South? And the answer is actually on the Dubai South website. So you see, so I agree. Sometimes sessions on these help because
Yeah,
people do not even
yeah,
understand the
yeah.
intent or the personality of a community. It's called Dubai
Mhm.
South because it just happened by in history that the premium luxury living spaces in many of the cities in the world was in the south. Look at South Mumbai.
In the
You get
south.
all your Bollywood and the
South
billionaires
Delhi.
are all in the south. Look at South Delhi. Look at South Beach, Florida. You have
Mhm.
South London, where you have all the art galleries and the premium restaurants. So the South became synonymous with luxury and a next level
Mhm.
lifestyle. So Dubai South is going to become that with the biggest airport, the biggest exhibition centers in the world. Palm Jebel Ali will come to completion. Jebel Ali Hills, which is all plots people are buying for mansions. You got the Oasis by Emaar. You've got the Grand
Mhm.
Polo Country Club, all of that coming. So that area is going to be the next luxury lifestyle area besides the waterfront areas in Dubai. That is why it is called Dubai South.
Excellent. So let's, if I would just request if your team could do some research and we have a session, I'd be there. I'd be the first one to sign up because
How
there's a
much of a
lot going
commission
on
you'll
in
share
terms
with
of
me?
trade. So,
How much
doctor,
of
for
a
you,
commission?
100% will be yours.
Look,
100%
listen.
Gurudakshana.
I
I
will
have been
also
I
be
have been
there.
invited as the guest on this show. So talk to Yaman, talk to Chintan, and if they want to do this, we'll do a session. No big deal.
Yeah, yeah, we'll
But
definitely do something.
I just want to interrupt this. I'm concentrating on Dubai South a lot. So if you do a session on Dubai South, I would sign up automatically also. So
Wow, for sure. Okay, Rajesh.
Right. You have
Point
one
taken.
more.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, also for Dubai South.
Yes, sir.
All right, good, good. Okay, so Yaman, I hope you're paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone who wants to, just a last question, and then we'll, of course, um, close it down. Anyone who wants to ask something, know something.
Okay. If there is no question, there is something I'd like to leave as a final
Yeah,
gift
yeah,
for
yeah.
everyone.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
At a time like this, when there is a request for clarity and information, there is also the requirement to be working with credible developers. So people are apprehensive. In a good time, sometimes we throw caution to the wind. We take risk even with some of the smaller players. Not to say that the
yeah,
smaller players are bad. You have to be careful who you take, because in any market that is booming, honey attracts flies. So there will be good players, there will be average players. This is not just in the sales people, this is even in the type of investor, and it's also in the type of developer.
yeah,
It's an opportunity, so they come in. So at a time when or in good time also, when many of these developers were struggling to move their inventory, that's why they were giving 7%, 8% commissions and all these great promises, and they're not paying it, by the way. Yeah? So brokers suddenly see 8% commission, chalo yaar, I will go and sign, I will sell this, and they are crying after 10 months and 1 year they're not getting commission because they don't have money. So they're trying to move this product. So now is the time when, if you really want to be credible, is you should be, because clients are getting more discerning. They are doing extra research, which they were not doing 3 months ago. They were riding the wave of the popularity and performance. So they were taking risk. Now they're not taking risk. So now, if you really want to be closing deals, you should be presenting premium developers. I'm not saying government developers or big boys, premium developers. There are some very good in the private as well, because the
yeah,
moment you talk about premium developers, one, resistance is reduced from your client, because they can see why this developer would make sense, because there is credibility to the name, there is a legacy develop, they have handed over projects, or even if they are new boys in town, there are many new developers who are very good. They are carrying strong legacy from where they came, Europe, South Africa, India, wherever it may be. So if you are going to choose a credible developer now, you have a better chance of working with the client. Secondly, you have to choose which area from that developer are you suggesting the opportunity, because demand driven locations will always be popular, and they will bounce back way faster than the other areas in recovery state. So you choose a credible developer, choose a demand driven location. Within that location, select the property carefully. If it is a cookie cutter kind of thing where studio, one bedroom, two bedroom, like 2000 units have just been launched there, you are losing your edge as an investor, because tomorrow when I want to rent, there is 400 units listed out there. So I will be one among 400 competing for a tenant. When I want to resell, I don't have edge on appreciation. So, however, in the same area, while those 2000 are there, if there is a building or a mini community that is really unique and giving some very good lifestyle opportunity, that's where you should be putting people in now, because the just by the default of design, those projects will appreciate and will have demand. So premium developers or good developers, good legacy, track record, good demand-driven location, unique product, and most important, escrow account.
yeah.
Do not
That's
put your
the
money.
trend. Yeah,
Do not put your money with any developer. I honestly don't care who the developer is, if it's going directly into the developer's account.
corporate account,
After
some
that,
other
you
kind of
do not
stuff.
have to cry if you lose your money. Protect it by putting it in the escrow. So for the brokers who are on this, I'm telling you, be very careful. Don't go sniffing the 7%, 8%, 9%, because you're not going to get paid. So I'd rather
Hi,
you get the
Anand.
4% and 5% and get paid. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a long while.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
sorry
tell
I'm
me.
unable to turn on my camera today, but I would just want to put in maybe 2 minutes of, what my journey has been.
No
At
problem.
Avasa
Go ahead.
Living, yeah, at
Mm.
Avasa Living, we've, kind of uh, done the best of the research possible during the last 3 months and picked up 6 more plots. So,
Okay.
that's one thing. We've put our own money in, and we are also, I'll take the advantage of this session since, there are a lot of accomplished brokers here to be able to, get in touch with us, and if anybody can get us good plots for villas, independent villas, we're looking at very small communities. We are always open. We've picked 6 plots, and we are open to pick up more this year. We understand the wellness amalgamation of, in addition to the aesthetics, the villas that we create definitely is a niche product which has a market of its own, and we do not do quantities. We stick to our qualities. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, if anybody has access to such plots, we can talk about this offline as well.
All right,
Thank you.
great.
Sure. I guess Adini wants to ask something. I just saw hand raised, and then we close up with Chintan right now. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So it's about the developers. I have a, it's happened to me. So my client, he's gonna be invest with me, and he is Indian. But only problem he is, he is saying that okay, this is I would not say the developer name. So this is Pakistani developer. So I will not go with this. Then I saw another one that is also unfortunately Pakistani developers. So now, how can I, convince Dr. Anand?
Okay.
So yeah, that's really happened to me, and I'm struggling with this. And somehow, like again, I piece me and Jeevan piece, and then again that is also the Pakistani developer, right? So according to
Okay.
his budget, it comes with the Pakistani developer and everything is there. So my question is, so it's not about the only the problem. Sometimes, like we have to convince the client, like, okay, developer doesn't matter, or like, I don't know, the situation I'm having, and I'm really having the issue with this. So I want you to, give some advice. Thank you.
Okay. I know how you feel about this. I get it, because sometimes with India and Pakistan, there can be some strong emotions that get into it, and people move away from the value of the community or the opportunity and start getting stuck in historical clashes across the border. That's in their head. So they try to get there. Now, so one of the things, there are two things you could probably do here. Use a third party approach when you present. I think let's say that it's developer X. Call someone whom you know there and say, by the way, which type of nationalities are buying with you right now? Can you share with me some approximate percentages? So you will get probably some percentage of the Indians there, in which case you can turn around and tell the client, well, if what you're saying is true, then help me understand why 12% of the people investing in developer X are from India. So if you can get some statistics from there, it will just add more credibility to you in the answer. One. The second thing that you could give is a more broader approach, saying that in Dubai, we do not give opportunities by nationalities or by sentiment. Dubai is a global city. It's a picture of the world. Everyone is welcome here. They have to meet the criteria of the government of Dubai and provide the opportunities which are truly international. None of us are building here for a specific community. So if we can show Arabs are buying into it, if we can show the Egyptians are buying into it, the Russians are buying into it, then they're all buying into the opportunity. They're not buying into an Indian developer or buying into a Pakistani developer or a Turkish developer. They're buying into an opportunity in a global city. Aruni, money smells the same, whether it comes from India, Pakistan, or Egypt. So
All
it's a
right. I think,
redirection,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
redirect in a nice way and point them to an international scope. So what's the reason you're looking at investing, Mr. India? The reason you're looking to invest is to make a good capital appreciation, probably a great rental yield, exit at the right moment with multiple buyers coming in. So can we look at this community and see if it ticks those boxes for you? Well, if it ticks those boxes for you, there's no need to look beyond that at anything else.
Uh, Chintan, you want to add
Yeah,
something?
but
And then we'll close the
yeah,
topic.
but it's still, I somehow I try to convince, but at the same time, it's in their mind, it's not going anywhere. No, I cannot trust because of the history, this and that's it. I know, we all know, everybody knows, the world knows the history, right? Pakistan and India, but it's still like, anyways, I'll try,
Ask
yeah,
him.
this opportunity
Okay.
thing. Sorry.
No, yeah, but ask him again. Say, I understand. When you say you cannot trust, is it the history of the developer and their performance, or the history of two countries politically? Which is the history you are not able to trust now?
He's confused. He doesn't know.
So that's why you are there, Aruni. Your job is to clear away the
Yeah.
clouds and the fog and explain to him that the only history that matters to you now is the history of this company, their delivery track record, the lifestyle that people are experiencing, and the rate of return.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor.
Okay.
I'll try my best.
But
Thank you so much.
Also, if I could add, we could also talk about, the entire process of acquiring RERA in Dubai and how powerful RERA is, the land
Mm.
acquisition cost and, the escrow account, how much you have to deposit in the escrow before you get the RERA certificate to start advertising your project. I think that might just add something. But
Yeah,
this
it
is
will. It will.
practicality. This is emotion over practicality. So we can just present
100%.
facts to see,
Might
what's going to
might
happen.
might even just be an excuse. So you can ask him, Aruni, I can see this is important. Is that the only thing stopping you from going ahead today? Lock him in with a clear answer first. Sometimes it's just some stupid excuse the person is giving.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing, yeah, he said the developer is Pakistani, this and that, and his pocket is limited, and with that pocket, I cannot give him, the big developers project unit also. So yeah, let's see. I'll
No,
try
you,
my
you
best.
can you,
And
you can suggest to him to go to Outer Mongolia, somewhere along the Great Wall of China. He can find an opportunity and he can go and park himself there.
I
But
think
then he'll
Dr.
have a
all right,
Anand
problem with India
also
and China also.
all right, all
we
right.
also have a lead qualification geography within Dubai. Arni, you could take him to JVC. What price point? What does he want? Morning to evening, you can qualify your lead. If you don't want this, I have another. You have 40 projects there.
We cannot deny on that, right? About JVC.
Morning to evening. It's like when I used to sell cars, some tire kicker will come in and say, "Oh, if this was yellow Ferrari, I would have taken it. Oh, it's downstairs. Come, let me show you." Before he leaves the showroom, I know he's buying or not. So yeah, you take him to JVC. He'll get everything.
Yeah, JBC also, I showed him. Last I said to him that, okay, what do you need? Just tell me. You need this, you need this, you need this. I gave you the lot of option. Now choose from it. If you are such a lady, okay. I've been, attending him like since months and months now. So lastly he said,
Aruni,
no, I'm
don't
interested to buy. I'm interested to buy like this.
That's okay.
listen. Don't waste your time with him. Use a technique that's called the sudden death. It's an actual
Okay,
technique.
what is that?
Okay.
Okay.
Sudden death is very simple. Arun is my client. I'll say, and you use a serious flat tone with this. No nonsense, khalas, enough is enough tone. I would simply say,
Yeah.
Aruni, either this is not a good opportunity, in which case we both agree you shouldn't take it, or it's an amazing opportunity and we both agree you should take it. One way or the other. Why don't we make a buying decision today so I don't have to take up your time with more of these kind of meetings? Then you shut up. Put the pressure on him.
Okay. Okay. This I'm gonna do it very soon. Yeah. He has. Yeah. I will do this
Okay.
now. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Because
I
I
can
feel
see
like
a
this.
hand
If
up there
I say
somewhere.
like this, yeah. If I say like this, I think like okay, he might get. Okay, this girl is really arrogant. So that's why I'm stopping myself. But I
No,
think
no, no.
yeah.
Listen,
Thank you.
your time is more precious than that client. You cannot lose
Yeah.
time. You can find clients from anywhere, and the clown has not made a decision for so many months. He's probably not
Yep.
going to decide anyway.
Yeah.
He's the tire kicker that Bharat just referred to. So get him out of your
Oh yeah,
system.
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Chintan bhai, anything you want to add on? And we'll close the session then.
सचिन तेंदुलकर ने बैटिंग कर लिया रहता ना फिर मतलब बॉलर्स को चुप रहने का देखने का बैटिंग
Nahin, that's true.
I think it's perfect, and I think what the kind of feedback that we are getting, Yaman, a lot of people have a lot of questions. So I think you have to like एक तो लोकेशन भी आप आइडेंटिफाई करेगा आपका ग्रुप और ऐसे उसके ऊपर if we have conversations we can take time from Anand sir.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
उसमें
We'll
और
do
मजा
Dubai
आएगा.
South or something. Yeah, yeah. We'll do research. We'll keep on doing something like which would have a better understanding for everyone. It's a
One
knowledge
thing
session.
what
So
I
everyone should.
personally feel Yaman and Anand ji, because I'm talking with a lot of associations in India, and a lot of people in India somewhere are not like the real estate developers or the Indian brokers are not happy that their investors, that their people whom they have got ready to invest into India are going towards Dubai. So a lot of negative campaigns and okay, our
Yeah,
Indian
it's been
money is
done.
going outside. So what, I have a very simple answer to that is, who is investing into Dubai? Not someone who is selling his home and putting that money in Dubai. Not someone whose first investment after that home is in Dubai. Usually the people who are buying in Dubai, they have their own home, they have their own office, they have good investment in India. And after that, now they want to explore
Start their
a
journey, yeah.
market where, which is which has a
Better returns or
participation
whatever,
from
yeah.
anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I want to, people now, this time there is one difference what I feel, because I know at least 15 families who were very close to me, they have completely moved to Dubai. They were millionaires, they were billionaires, so they have not moved like 5 people in the family. Their executive assistant also went with them. There were 2 nannies who were handling their kids, wo bhi chale gaye. The entire top level management of their office has gone. So this time things are different. People are not moving just to have like a small office there, a small setup. No, they want to move their entire office, they want to
Yeah,
move their
cool.
entire organization. These are millionaires moving. So when a millionaire moves, he has the entire ecosystem moving with him or her. So it's a different thing. They want to participate in like a economy which has interest from almost everyone in the world. So I think that really works. And secondly, who is investing in India? आपको target वो like tier 2 tier 3 city participation is phenomenal. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
75% of Indians who are buying in the UAE are from the tier 2 tier 3 cities. So when there I see a lot of channel partners from UAE. So if you are doing any road shows or something, it will work wonderful. But I would suggest rather come to that city, spend 2 3 4 days and then announce the roadshow. That would be like more easier for you.
That's
And
where the
always
capital is. They are looking for exposure, and I think a lot of capital is over there. They're just looking for right exposure and knowledge.
see,
Yeah.
having tying up with someone in India is more easier than just talking with someone or announcing a roadshow and just coming with like meeting 20 30 clients. I know a lot of my friends who are actually doing this. They say funnel ban jata hai and then closure aega. I think that is not something. And
Yeah. Try
if you
new.
first ask डॉक्टर आनंद जी क्या बोलते हैं, अपना पिच देने के पहले पहले आप उनके प्रॉब्लम समझो कि व्हाट आर दे लुकिंग फॉर. लाइक ऑफ कोर्स आनंद जी टोल्ड अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, बट Aruniko, I would suggest, if someone, I know a lot of Indians whom even if you give them a 50 60% discount from a Pakistani developer, they will not buy. So
Yeah,
I would rather not show them only. Like I know their mindset and I
that
would
I came
not
to
be
know.
able
Yes.
to, because the moment you change their mindset, the moment they are home, he will speak to his wife or his dad, again the mindset changes. So it's not worth if on day one, if someone is giving you a brief what kind of investments they are looking, I think you should not only show them that option, because I know 99% of the cases it won't he's not gonna buy it for sure, and you would not be able to change it. And it has happened with me personally. On a very serious note, my best of my friends, when I come to UAE, are I gel a lot with Pakistanis, but then the moment I come back, all my real estate developer friends, bro, how can you do this? And this thing comes, but there's no answer to it, I personally feel. Yes, bro.
Got
So
it.
I should not suggest the Pakistani developers anymore with the Indian investors.
It's
So there is no
easier.
solution. Yeah, in your experience.
Look, it's easier that way. Let's just put it that. It's easier. That's all I can say.
So, thank you all for joining in. It was a great set. We are insights, run through the presentation. The numbers, I personally feel, not like 99% of people don't know, and it really helps to get such facts and numbers. And we'll, of course, come up with a session on a specific location, like few people said on South, which can be a knowledge session on what's really happening and what is the kind of developments government is getting over there. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Dr. Anand. Thank you, Chintan.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Yaman.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Enjoy
Thank
your
you, Mr.
weekend.
Chintan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Chintan, and
Take
thank
care.
you, Yaman.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you again
Thank you
very
for the
soon.
session,
Thank
Anand sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Yaman.
Thank you. Thank you.
you. And
Bye. Take
Yaman,
care.
and I need a video. Remember the first
We'll
in
do that. We'll
starting?
play that video.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow you on Instagram right
Yeah.
away.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a
Bye bye.
wonderful
Take
day,
care.
everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye. Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.